Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this evening attending the planning board meeting of April 1st. And I'm going to ask everyone at this time to please rise for the flag salute. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, everyone, please mute yourselves. Commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this special meeting of April 1st, 2024 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on March 22nd, 2024, in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the planning board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the planning board at this meeting. Public participation will be available by calling 1-973-321-1579. Meeting ID is number 8326. Press star 1 to listen to the meeting. Press star 3 to be added to the speaker queue, and on the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. So the public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting. Also at www.youtube.com/C/City of Paterson NJ City Hall /live. Tonight's procedures will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office at 125 Ellison Street in the City of Paterson. I lost my visual here, so I'm going to try to get it back. Madam Secretary, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Collier.
Present.
Commissioner Fisher.
Present.
Commissioner Hassan.
Present.
Commissioner Hussein.
Present.
Commissioner Lidanzo.
Present.
Commissioner Roman.
Present.
Commissioner Amar.
Present.
And Madam Chair Northrop.
Present, and I'm going to have to go sign off and sign back on because I lost all the visual.
We still see you,
That's great. I don't see anybody.
but go back up to view again.
Yeah, there's no view up here. I'm sorry. I don't see it. What I'm looking at now is your meeting has been launched, and that's it. I don't see anything here.
On the bottom, it's probably just switched to a different program. Like maybe your mouse hit something.
Got it. I'm trying to get up here. Am I on here again? Can you see me? Yeah, I can see myself. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yep. All right. So, Mr. Mariconda. Okay. Mr. Mariconda, are you representing this applicant?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. We do represent the applicant before you this evening, Mercado Properties, LLC.
Okay, I'm going to Mercado's Properties LLC, 322 West Broadway, Block 703, Lot 19. Mr. Deutsch, you will be giving the review this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
On a 7,360 square foot lot, the applicant proposes to remove the existing two-story dwelling on the site and subdivide the parcel into 3 lots and construct a 3-story, 2-unit dwelling on each lot. Proposed lot 19.01 and 19.03, proposed lot sizes of 2,555 square feet and lot widths of 25.82 feet. Proposed lot 19.02 proposes a lot size of 2,250 square feet and a lot width of 22.73 feet. The first floor of each structure proposes parking for 4 vehicles and a storage and utility room for each of the units. The second and third floors of each unit proposes a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit of approximately 1,200 square feet. The rear of each unit includes a balcony. This proposal is within the R2 residential zone and within the city's first ward and is located on the east side of West Broadway, 129 feet south of Burhams Avenue. Variances are requested for the following in all 3 proposed lots. Lot area, 5,000 square feet required and 2,250 square feet and 2,555 square feet proposed. Lot width, 50 feet required and 22.73 feet and 25.82 feet provided. Individual and combined side yard setbacks as a minimum of 4 feet is required between structures and 0 feet is proposed. Combined side yard setbacks as a minimum of 14 feet is required and 0 feet and 3.05 feet is proposed. Lot coverage as a maximum coverage of 40% is permitted and 51.1% and 58% is proposed. In addition to the required subdivision deeds, a common driveway access cross easement is required, as all 3 proposed buildings will be served by 1 access driveway located on proposed lot 19.02. That is your staff submission for this proposal, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Chair. We'll be calling Mr. Romanek on architectural planning, Mr. Stearns on site plan engineering. The applicant's also on board with us if needed. We agree with Mr. Deutsch's summary. And in fact, his entire report we have reviewed and concur with, which will highlight some of the points during the course of our testimony. We do agree, and Tom will cover the fact that there will be a common driveway easement as per Mr. Deutsch's report. So this being said, at this point, I'll call Mr. Romanek as our first witness.
Yes, please.
Please state your name for the record.
Yes, Michael Romanek, Romanik. My office is at 291 Crooks Avenue in Paterson. I'm currently registered as an architect and planner.
Yes, and we accept him as the next.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Please raise your
That's
right
right.
hand.
Yes,
You swear the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Romanek, obviously you've prepared the architectural renderings,
Yes, I have.
and that's done in conjunction with Mr. Stearns' site plan as well.
Yes, correct.
Okay, you could give us an overview of how we propose to develop the site?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Excuse me, Alan, can you share the screen with your plans, please?
Coming up.
Yes, Commissioners, you're looking at the first sheet of a set of drawings that are dated 11/15/22. Sheet number 1, as you can see at this time, shows the front elevation of the structure itself. There's actually 3 individual 2-family houses that are attached to look as you're seeing what we have now. On that drawing as well, Commissioners, on the lower right-hand corner of the sheet, you'll see a key building plan. Mr. Stearns is here, which will later review the site plan itself, but this is a key building plan which shows the 3 2-family houses, as you can see, labeled as house number 1, house number 2, and house number 3. The property is on the east side of West Broadway, which is south of Burhans Avenue. And as Mr. Deutsch indicated, it's in an R2 zone. As well. The property has 7,360 square feet of lot area. It's trapezoidal in shape, as you can see from the configuration of that key building plan, Commissioners, with respect to the red line, as Mr. Stearns is showing right now. You can see from the front elevation, we are providing 2-car garage for each of the 2-family homes. There will be 3 stories, as shown on the drawing. The total height is 35 feet, which does satisfy the height allowance in the R2 zone. As you can see from the summary on the upper right-hand corner of the sheet, Commissioners, we are proposing two-family houses again, and there's a description of house number 1, house number 2, and house number 3. It's a combination of 2-bedroom apartments and 3-bedroom apartments. The interior two-family house, actually house number 1, which is in the middle of the 2 outer ones, will have 2-bedroom units in each of the first floor or the second floor and the third floor itself as well, Commissioners. So that's what the front of the elevation looks like. You'll see that we are providing a stone veneer with a mixture of stucco as well. The roof will have typical asphalt shingles, as you can see from the drawing itself. Commissioners, if you turn to sheet number 2, you'll see the typical layout of each of the levels. To the far left is the ground floor. And you can see, as Mr. Deutsch indicated, each of the houses, each of the two-family houses will have 4 cars within the garage itself. And there's also a rear area with exterior doors leading to the rear yard, which will accommodate utility and storage areas for each of the tenants. The second floor, which is the diagram in the middle, shows the apartment that's located on the second floor. And as you can see from the notations on the drawing, Commissioners, the end units, that is house number 1 and house number 3, the units on the top and on the bottom are 3-bedroom units, and the two-family house units in the middle will have 2 bedrooms. As you can see, the 3-bedroom apartments have 2 bathrooms. There's a master bath for each of the master or primary bedrooms. And you can see also the HVAC utility closets are contained within the apartments as well. There's a combined kitchen, dining, and living area, as you can also see on the drawings, and the bedrooms are quite sized nicely, Commissioners. The third floor is very typical to the second floor, again, having the same functions and so on. Each two-family house is dimensioned with a depth of 58 feet by a width of 22 feet 6 inches. If you turn to sheet number 3, you'll see a larger floor plans which show the dimensions of all the rooms. And again, you can see on the upper part of the sheet, you'll see the typical 3-bedroom apartment on the left side. And you can see that the primary bedrooms also have a bathroom as well as a common bathroom that serves the other 2 bedrooms and any guests, obviously, that come to the house. You'll see the kitchen again combined with the living and dining areas. And again, you'll see a larger diagram showing the HVAC on each of the floors. Commissioners, and looking on the right-hand side, you'll see the typical 3rd floor 2-bedroom unit, because that's the unit in the middle. So it only has 2 bedrooms. They're unlike the house number 1 and house number 2, where you have 3 bedrooms because of the exterior exposure right to the outer part of the property itself. Again, the lower diagram, Commissioner, so you'll see that the garages accommodate 4 parking spaces for 4 cars, as you can see from the diagrams. The garage width is 16 feet, which is a normal 2-car garage car width. And to the right side or the back of the garages, you'll see again, there's a storage room that serves each of the units on the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor. So they have their own specific, not only parking, but they also have a storage and utility room with the meters as shown on that diagram as well. And the access is towards the rear. There's an exterior door on each of the ground floor of the 2-family houses. That's essentially what we have as far as the layout, Commissioners. Again, the size of each 2-family house is 58 feet deep by 22 feet 6 inches. Generally, you're looking at 1,200 square feet for each floor. That does meet the minimum floor area for a 3-bedroom unit, which is 900 square feet. For a 2-bedroom, and for a 3-bedroom, it's 1,100 square feet. So we do satisfy the minimum floor area for the 2-bedroom apartments and also 3-bedroom apartments. Turning to sheet number 4, Commissioner, you'll see that we have the elevations. That's the views of the other sides of the structure itself, as well as the rear. And you can look at the diagram in the far right. You'll see that's the rear elevation, which has, again, the exterior doors that lead from the utility rooms and provides access to the backyards of each of the 2-family homes. And we are providing balconies on the second floor and third floor apartments, as you can also see from that diagram.
Is that
Again,
usable, I'm sorry, is
Yes.
it usable open space in the rear or?
Yes, it's not very deep. However, there is some open space in the back, which can be used as a sitting area and a play area.
Right.
You'll see from Mr. Stern's site diagram that actually house number 3 has more of a backyard than the house number 1. The property, as you can see, is shaped like a trapezoid, more like a rhomboid actually, and it's skewed. So you have the property lines that are parallel, but they're shaped, as you can see. It's unequal as far as 90 degrees. They do not have 90 degrees in any of the property lines. So we are proposing a 3-lot subdivision. Each lot will have approximately 24 feet in width, and the area is about 2,400 square feet or so, because as I indicated, the lot area has a total of 7,360 square feet. So we try to position the units on the property, and Mr. Stearns will describe the easement. So all maneuvering of the cars backing out from the garage will be done on site itself. None of the cars will back out onto the street. It's not designed that way with the easement. There'll be a common easement where you back out fully on the property, you pull head out onto West Broadway. So that was done for the traffic reasons, of course, and congestion. We don't want to create any problem on the street. So we feel having all access and maneuvering on the site would be beneficial for this particular site. And we tried to position the buildings, as you can see, again, on the diagram to the right there, we do have one of the houses that is house number 3 offset more, just to give it some variety and also take advantage of the trapezoidal shape of the property. So we feel this is a good project. We feel that the density is not high at all. It's based on other properties in the area which have small lots as well. Many of them have 25 by 100 feet. So we feel that this is most appropriate. And the building that's on there now isn't the best shape. So we feel that this is going to replace that with something that's obviously a new housing, and we feel would be a complement to not only the neighborhood, but the greater city as a whole. So we feel that what we are proposing is very complementary as far as fitting into the character of the neighborhood. And again, the neighborhood is a 2-family zone, so that's what we're proposing, 3 2-family homes.
And the existing structure is either in need of rehab or demolition. It's not in great condition, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, that's all we have, Mr. Romanek, at this time. Madam Chair?
She's muted.
You good?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm going to
Okay,
ask you to
that
bring
would
in,
conclude Mr. Romanek's testimony.
yes, so I'm going to ask you to bring in Mr. Stern.
Okay,
I'm here. Good evening.
Yep, good evening.
Please raise your right hand, Mr. Stern. Actually, state your full name for the record.
Sure. Thomas G. Stearns III, STEARNS, 144 Jewel Street, Garfield, New Jersey.
Thank you. You swear the testimony about to give this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And we accept Mr. Stern as an expert witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
okay. Mr. Stearns, you've had the benefit of hearing Mr. Romanek's testimony and Mr. Deutsch's report, which you have reviewed.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, could you give us an overview of your site plan at this time?
Sure. First, I'm going to share my screen, if I may. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. So this is my site plan, originally dated December 27th, 2022, and most current revision is 1/26/24. That's a 4th revision. So as was described to you by Mr. Deutsch and Mr. Romanek, we're proposing a 3-lot subdivision. This lot is on the easterly side of West Broadway. Just briefly, I'll be quick. Lot 19, block 703. It contains a total of 7,360 square feet. We're dividing to 3 lots. The 2 outer lots are going to be equal at 2,555 square feet. The middle lot is going to be 2,250 square feet. That's the more narrow lot. The two outer lots, again, are 25.82 in width, and the middle lot is going to be 22.73. As Mr. Romanek said, we're going to first subdivide these into the three lots, lots 19.01, 2, and 3. We're proposing dwellings on each of these. As Mr. Romanek said, these are going to be 22.5 feet wide by 58 feet. The positioning of these, what we did is we gave 3.05 as outer side yard setbacks on the two outer buildings, and the middle building will be, the walls will meet. There'll be fire rated walls on those. The front, what we did in the front to promote parking and maneuvering, we pushed the buildings back. So we have the closest front setback on this is our 27.12 feet, and that's on our middle lot. And that will give us maneuverability for these cars to pull out of the garage. And then, as Mr. Romanek said, they'll be able to pull out forward onto West Broadway, which is a county road, busy road. So we'll have, they won't have to back out into the road, in other words. We're also providing on the first level, as he said, 4 parking spaces per unit. So we are fully compliant with our parking. The existing lot, just to go over briefly, I'll zoom in. That's the top left corner of the sheet here. So we had an existing dwelling, approximately 1,500 square feet, closer to the northerly side of the property. The grading on the site was relatively flat. We go from 103 to 102, so 1 foot to 2 foot grade change on the site, which is relatively flat. There's no drainage facility on the site. So what there is the existing dwelling and that driveway on the site, and any concrete features would run off onto the site and onto adjacent properties, mostly toward the rear, and some into West Broadway. So what the proposal is, I'll just go down to my site plan detail. So we're proposing 3,000-gallon seepage pits in front of each dwelling. So we'll have 1 seepage pit per lot, and these pits will capture the entire roof runoff from each dwelling during a 2.5, I believe it's a 2.5-inch storm. And also, in addition to that, we're going to capture this driveway. So we have that, as I discussed, we have the turnaround maneuvering driveway in the front. That'll be common to each of the dwellings. And that entire driveway will be captured with a trench drain, so no water will go into West Broadway. So the only uncaptured water on the site is that rear area. That'll be our open space area, and that'll be a lawn area. So that'll percolate into the ground as it currently does. So it'll be an improvement from a drainage standpoint on the site, and it'll be a beautification. The site is in disrepair currently. As we said, we have a 20-foot drop curb in the front, and that will allow us to enter the site and maneuver into the garages. I have another detail I'll show everyone for our easement detail, but for now, I'm just going to go through the variances quickly. Mr. Deutsch did already, but so basically we have common variances for each lot. So where 5,000 square feet is required, we're asking for a lot area, which is 2,555 square feet and 2,250 square feet. Lot width 50 is required. We're at 2,582 for 2 lots, 22.73 for the other lot in the middle. Front yard, we do comply with the front yard. 20 is required. And to make that driveway area possible, we created that open area in the front. So we're compliant. Side yard, 4 foot's required. We're at 0 on the side yard. Side yard both, we have 305 on both sides and 0 in the middle. Rear yard, so 20 is required. We're asking for a variance of the smallest one of the 3 is 8.01. The largest is 8.23. Floor area ratio, we're compliant. Lot coverage, 40% is required. We're at 51.1%. on the 2 outer lots and 58 in the middle lot. Parking, we comply with 4 spaces per unit, and we comply with the height as well. I'll just briefly, I'm going to go to my other, I'm going to stop sharing this screen and go to my other, I may be able to switch over, sorry. Here we go. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a, let's see, this is my easement plan. So this depicts the property in a whole and the subdivided lots with the dwelling shown on them and the driveway. And this area in the front will be deeded for common access and turnaround. So that'll be submitted and filed with the subdivision deeds for the property. So each one will have a deeded access to this turnaround area. Anything else?
I think that would cover Mr. Stern's testimony, Madam Chair. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, that would cover Mr. Stern's at this time.
Okay, I'm actually gonna bring, I think this is a time to open it up to the public. So I believe we have some callers, is that correct?
Yes, we have 7 callers waiting to speak.
Okay, so I wanted to open it up to the commissioners because I have some questions myself, but I'm going to go with the public for now. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to open up the public portion. So if there's anyone in the public portion that has any questions, okay, for either witness, Mr. Romanek or Mr. Stearns, okay, this is the time to come forward. Please put your first caller through.
Hold on, we're waiting on Ryan, and just remind everyone the number to call and the number, Madam Chair. That's on your.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore in here. Let me try one more time. Let me see if I have it here. Sorry. I have a number here. The public participation will be available by calling 1-973-321-1579. The meeting ID is 8326. And you press *1 to listen to the meeting, and you press *3 to be added to the queue. Okay, so does Ryan have any callers?
We're just waiting for them to get connected. Hold on, please. Okay, we have the first caller. Can you please state your full name and last name and your address and your question?
Okay, my name is Yvonne Jackson, and I live at 317 West Broadway. I'm directly across from this property they want to build. I don't really have questions. I saw the presentation.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, there will be a section now. If you have comments, you will be given that opportunity to comment on the application later on.
Okay, then I do have a question then, if I have to ask questions. I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can I go now? Proceed? I don't know.
Go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
You guys ready for me to? Okay. My question is, I see they're doing this with the sewage system. They're building the 3 septic tanks in front of the building. These constructions, I don't know if you saw lot 18, I think, and 20. Those houses are right beside that. That side of the street where they're building, they kept saying the east side of West Broadway, there's no parking on that side of the street. So everyone over there has to have a driveway, or either they park on the opposite side of the street, which is where I live. So if they're building new constructions over there, all of these houses are older homes. and there's not real, and the septic and the sewer systems are older. I know recently I looked into my sewer system, and they're telling me that it's still the terracotta or the tile type of going from the house to the curb. So I can't imagine what those houses over there. And that house that they're building on, that's actually an old house. Mr. Mariconda's had that property since 2014. So my question is, what are they going to do about that sewer system over there? And is that going to affect when they start drilling and doing their things? Obviously, everything shifts. Is that going to start affecting our houses, the other
Okay.
people that live in the neighborhood?
Okay, Mr. Mariconda,
We'll have Mr. Stearns primarily respond to that question.
please.
Sure. So what's going to happen is the city actually has a requirement that when we install or hook up to existing sewer lines that we have to TV those existing lines. So we will have new connections for each dwelling going out into West Broadway. That'll be a requirement. There'll be new construction, and the connections will be inspected, and the line will have to be videotaped to make sure that there's no damage to it after construction. In addition to that, we are in an area of West Broadway that has some slope on the street. So slope is good for the system. Do you hear me? So slope is good because
Yes, I hear you.
contributes to a clean sewer line.
Okay, but I live on this street and I've been here for 27 years. So I know what you're saying about that slope because that property, the existing property sits back and high and further back. And the balcony view that you guys discussed is behind the masonry. Those are all buildings on that back street. So that right there, I guess it'll run off to whatever they got going on back there from that end. But there's the easement. That actual driveway, if you look at those properties, they sit so close to each other. I can't imagine, I know you said it's going to be a common area for them to turn around, but this house is less than 500 feet from the brownstone. These houses are. They're less than 500 feet. Is there 500 feet from the brownstone? The traffic going up back and forth West Broadway is already a lot, especially when there's events going on. So I know you created the parking space, the 2 per housing, but that's no way going to cover it when someone is trying to back in and out. The people that already live over there, they back in and out, and
Okay,
it's a big disruption.
Okay, I think we get the point there. I'm going to ask Mr. Stern if he can address that.
Sure, I can. So currently, the driveway on the existing site is just a 1-car single width driveway shared with the neighbor actually, and they have no choice but to back in and out. Right. So our new driveway is we're not going to have to share access with that neighbor anymore. We're going to create a full height curb in front of our property. The neighbor will still have their driveway, and we're going to have a wide driveway, which is 20 foot wide. And in addition to that, we have enough room for the vehicles to turn around on the site, so they won't be backing in and out. They'll be pulling in, and then they'll be pulling out. So there'll be no backing out. We'll eliminate that current backing out on the street and they're going to be pulling out in the future with this.
Okay.
If it's approved.
All right, thank you. I'm going to have to move on to the next.
Madam
Excuse
Chair,
me.
can I address Mr. Stearns?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Mr.
Good evening, Mr. Stearns. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Mr. Reckley.
The first point I just wanted to make out is that there are 4 parking spaces required for each lot, and the applicant is proposing 4. So they're satisfying that requirement. So I just wanted to point that out to the commissioners. But while we're on the subject, in reviewing the Mr. Deutsch's report, and I don't know if you've addressed this before or not. If you did, I didn't hear it. One of the issues is that even though the subdivision is being proposed, the buildings are attached and they're going to share common elements, we need to hear a testimony on how the periodic repairs are going to be taking place, the exterior elements, and if there's going to be, I don't think these are going to be condos, so there won't be an association fund, but there has to be some sort of a fund to keep up with the maintenance of the driveway as set forth, and the building for that matter, as set forth in our report. So I don't know who is prepared to address that, but we probably should get that addressed right now.
Okay, that's not a problem, Council. Basically, we're not creating a fund because we're not creating any sort of association, as you accurately indicated. The applicant, as the owner of all three two-family dwelling units, will be solely responsible as the property owner and manager to do all the maintenance, all the common area work for all three houses. So we're not creating the traditional monthly fees. There's no fees involved on a monthly basis.
So essentially, the owner through the property manager will be responsible for the upkeep of the driveway and the exterior elements of the building then?
Correct.
Okay. Much like any other apartment building for that matter, except that there's the shared access, right?
Right, and we have the two-family design for each house.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, yes, I'm going to have to move on to the next caller, and I'll give 3 minutes for your questions, and there will be time at the end for comments. So next caller, please.
Okay, hold on, Madam Chair. We have to connect them. Okay, the next caller, can you please state your full first name and last name and your address for the record?
Hello?
Is anyone there?
Hello?
Yes, please
Hello?
state your name. Yes, please state your first name, last
You
name, and
can hear me?
address. Now we can, yes. Please state your
Oh.
first and last name for the record, okay?
My name is Patricia McNeil. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Your address, please?
Okay. I live on North 3rd Street off of West Broadway.
Your question? I'm allowing 3 minutes for questions, and then later on, there'll be time for
Okay.
comments.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you fine, okay? Please just...
Okay. My question is, besides the overcrowdedness, and my question is the parking free? Is the parking free for the tenants?
Okay. You're right.
Okay,
Yes,
Mr.
there's
Mariconda?
Yes,
Mr.
there'll be absolutely no fees for each two-family resident.
This is...
Okay,
Yeah, this...
and they have green space for the children to play?
There is a limited area of green space in the back
In the back.
and also a deck area.
Yes, any green place?
Yes, in the rear.
Yes.
Are those all your questions, Ms. McLean?
It to me, it appears that is not enough parking spaces there. So please reassess that before you decide to approve this. It doesn't seem like it's enough parking spaces.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next caller, and we'll take your comments under advisement. Thank you. Next caller, please.
Hold on, but we have to wait for them to be placed on queue.
Hello?
Yes. can you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Derek Brown.
Your
Can
address?
you hear me?
Yes, we can. Your address,
My
please?
address is... Okay, yes, my name is Derek Brown. My address is 27 North 8th Street. So I'm a couple of minutes away from West Broadway. And my concern... Hello? Yes,
Yes, we're here. Your question? I need a question right now. We're going to go into the comments a little bit later. I need your questions right now of Mr. Romanek and Mr. Stern. Those were the two witnesses, please.
So my question would be about the parking as well. So you're saying that each unit is going to get 4 parking spaces per unit?
Mr. Maricondo?
My question is about the parking as well.
Yeah. Yes, again, as we testified to, each unit will have 2 parking spaces. So each 2-family house has a total of 4. And that's in full compliance with the ordinance.
Now, what about guest parking?
Again, this is
because when you're going westbound, when you're heading westbound on West Broadway, which is the side where this building will be located, there's no parking on that side.
We understand the limitations within the surrounding area. We're designing something which we think is very suitable for this particular site. And we understand that other areas in the surrounding neighborhood have concerns, but this is our site that's before the board.
Since we comply, we're actually benefits.
And that's a benefit to the neighbors because we're not looking to go beyond what the ordinance allows.
Sir, do you have another question?
Yeah. Well,
I'm allowing 3 minutes for questions, so
I'm good. I'm good.
You're good? Okay. All right.
Okay.
We're going to allow time at the end
Madam Chair?
for comment. Yes.
Okay, no, you froze. Okay, we'll have the next caller. Just wait 1 second. Okay, Madam Chair, the caller is on.
Please state your first and last name and address for the record, please. Hello? There's no one on.
Hello.
I don't hear anyone.
All right, hold on 1 second. Okay, he's moving on to the next person.
Okay.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay.
Okay, I hear, wait, I hear
name?
feedback. Please, Miriam, can you tell them what to do so that they don't have feedback?
Okay, they probably have.
Okay, you hear too much?
Yes.
She has the TV
Okay,
on.
now I'm
Hold
talking.
on, hold on one moment, please. I hear, it's the TV. Please lower your TV.
They
That's
need to mute
feedback
their
from the TV.
YouTube.
Yeah, you got to mute the YouTube, okay?
Okay, can you
Okay,
speak now?
we did.
Okay, good.
Okay,
So please
and-
state your first, yes, we'll allow 3 minutes for questions, and please state your first and last name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Migdalia Vega, and I live on 330 West Broadway, Paterson, New Jersey. And I'm on not the adjacent lot, but the next one, the second one over. from where
Okay.
they plan to do this project. Okay, and this portion is for questions alone, right? You say?
Yes, yes.
So I have a question to that architect, Mr. Romanek.
Romanek.
Mr.
Okay, I
Romanek.
wanted to know what is the distance between between the lot, the left side, if we're facing it, okay, on West Broadway, looking east, the distance between that wall and our neighbor's property line. What's the distance there?
Mr. Stearns has it.
Yes. Yeah, we're at 3.05 feet.
3.05 feet. What is required? Okay, and what is required?
4 feet is required.
Okay, so that's a variance that they're asking for.
Correct.
Okay, so that if they need to escape through the side, they have to like jump off the balcony, okay, and then walk through there. Okay, another question where they said something about the conditions of the house, the demolition. Have they visited the house? Have you visited the house? Because it's being
Both my experts have visited.
it's being occupied right now. People live there.
Yeah, we understand that. Of course, our experts have visited the property. We want to do something that upgrades it even further. That's our intention. And so there would be a demolition if the board approves it. It's certainly not a property that is
I'm not.
condemned condition. No.
Okay. Okay, so it's not in like, okay, no, because they made it seem like it was like a ransacked house. People live there, and we've seen children playing in front. Okay, also, there was a comment about congestion and about backing up into Broadway. They weren't going to be doing that. Wake up and smell the coffee. Most of people that have driveways there, sometimes we have to come out through the front, or sometimes we have to back out. So, 12 cars, and the brownstone issues. That's something we have to consider, and that you're not considering.
You're not addressing.
Okay, not addressing it. I have a question to the planner about seepage, pits, and trench line, etc., because there's going to be increased sewage. So what are they doing to the actual sewer line? I know what they'll do on their property, but what about the actual city sewer line? Will they expand that too? Because it's an increased volume from a one-family house that's there. Now it's going to have 6 families. And are they considering, that's to the planner, Mr. Stern?
Corner sewer.
Yeah. And that the sewer, if they're going to do some alterations on the actual street sewer line, not just on the property, but actually, because sometimes that the brown, what is it, the corner drain, there's odors, strong odors without that. So if we increase, they have to make adaptations. So are they going to do anything to the city sewer line?
Okay, Mr. Stearns will address it. He's not a planner, he's an engineer surveyor. But again, any plans we design for our construction plans involving either runoff or sewer lines have to be very specifically approved by the city engineer. So Mr. Stearns, you can take it from there.
Sure. So there's two things. I don't know if you were discussing 2 different items. So one is seepage pits are associated with water runoff from rain. So basically when it rains on the roofs of those new houses that we're proposing and on the driveway, we have pits in the ground that will capture that water and percolate it into the ground. And also we have a trench drain that keeps the water from going onto West Broadway and the sidewalk. So that's one aspect is the storm.
Okay, so you're not really addressing the actual sewer increase.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay, and I know I'm not an engineer, I'm not a planner, but I lived there 40 years.
Excuse me, he's going to address the sewer issue. Okay, let him finish with his answer to you,
Oh,
please.
okay. I didn't hear him. I don't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Right.
Now, okay. Now I was hearing you.
Okay. So the sewer.
When
So
he said, you hear me now, like the commercial.
yes, right. So with the sewer.
Go ahead, Mr. President.
You have to let him finish his bit.
You have to let him finish talking because we can only record one person at a time.
Okay.
Right, but I
Ms. Vega.
stopped hearing.
Ms. Vega, okay, Ms. Vega, so let him answer the question, okay? Thank you.
Okay, so as far as sewer goes, we're going to provide new sewer lines for each new dwelling that's going to go out into the sewer line, into the city sewer. So the city, upon our construction, will inspect those lines that go into the city sewer, and they will inspect the city sewer at those locations as well. In addition to that, the county is going to, it's a county road, so county will have jurisdiction over this and will inspect the sewers that we're tying into. And we have to do a calculation that proves that we can, that we will not over demand the sewers.
Okay, so you're not really doing any changes or increasing the sewer?
We're not building a new sewer. No, we're going to tie into the existing sewer, but we have to prove that there's sufficient capacity in that sewer line.
It has to be approved by the city engineers anyway. So,
And the county engineer, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry?
And the county engineer as well.
The county too, as well. All right, I'm gonna have to move on to the next person. I'm only allowing approximately three minutes for each person, but there will be time at the end for the comments. So let me move forward with the next caller, please.
Hello.
Yes, can you please speak up, state your name and address for the record?
Yes, my name is Mark Borghetta.
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. No, excuse me. Wait,
I
hold
didn't
on.
get it.
Nobody's getting it. We got the recorder here. She can't hear you either. Can you talk more directly? Try to talk more directly into the phone, please. Sir?
I think you're muted.
No, I'm not. I'm not muted.
Is this me?
No. What?
Sorry.
The person
Hello,
calling
can you hear
in.
me?
I can hear you now. Can you? You're not the person that just called, but can you please state your name and address for the record? And I'm allowing 3 minutes for the questions.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Argueta. I'm at 316 West Broadway, right next to the property.
Excuse me, spell your last name.
ARGUETA.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So since this section is only for the questions, and I know some of this has already been brought up, but it's being brought up for a reason, regarding the parking situation and this easement, what's the enforcement that's going to go in place for this easement to actually be followed, given the fact that the current parking situation is congested? And we do also see police officers and everything not enforcing the actual parking code. So this is just exacerbating this issue. So what's the enforcement that's planned for this?
I don't even know what enforcement you'd be discussing because this is a private home.
Well, it's easement.
If I could say something though.
Go ahead, Mr. Stern.
So we have an easement that's that's going to be within the deed of each property, and that easement will require that this area is for turnaround and use only and not for parking, so it can't block the other driveways, the other garages, in other words. So it'll be for turnaround and access use only. So it prohibits, basically the easement agreement prohibits people from parking in that driveway area and only using it to turn around. And then it also provides for us to pull out onto West Broadway and not back out.
Right. And obviously.
And how much space is between, yeah?
Oh, go ahead. Go
space
ahead.
between the structure and the actual street? So the space they'll be backing out
That is
into and putting
correct,
in?
right, yes. We have a larger front setback, so these buildings will be set back from the right-of-way and allow for that driveway area to promote turnaround and access to the garages.
Right. How far from the street is that?
So actually, we're going to be 7, more than that, though.
Yeah.
So we're going to be, from the street, we're going to be approximately 40, almost 42 feet from the street. The dwelling.
And regarding the open green area space in the back, would that also be considered for possibility of moving forward to actually have green space? Because that plan, what is that, 8 by 11 on each of these 25 feet lots?
So it'll be 25 feet wide, minimum, you're right, minimum 8, and max 11 on each one by the 25-foot wide, right? We have the doorway access to the back.
Right, and I remember an earlier comment about the residential area and how this matches and does not match what the block currently looks like. This is going to be a building in the middle of a block with basically no yard, a front concrete driveway. It does not match the aesthetic of this block. So what's I don't understand the purpose of putting this building.
I'm going to save all of your comments. I'm sorry, but I'm going to save them all for your comments later on. Okay, everybody will have 3 minutes to make their comments, but this particular portion is strictly for questions. I have to stick to that and go on with the meeting. I'm sorry.
I understand.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to call her, please.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Can you please state your first and last name and
Yes,
address for the record?
Yes, this is Marco Argueta from 316 West Broadway.
I'm sorry, can you spell your
I
last
am
name?
Wait, I'm
Sir?
sorry. Excuse me.
Spelling?
It's A-R, it's same last name as my daughter that just called. It's Argueta.
Okay, go ahead, please. This is
And the
3 minutes for
question
question. Yes,
Concerning,
please.
concerning the driveway on my side, how far is the wall that they want to have? How far?
You're muted, Mr. Stern.
So are you on lot, if you're facing if you're facing your property, are you to the right of us?
I am facing the street, and your property that you're trying to build is on my right. And I want to know if you're gonna build a 3-story buildings, in which direction is the snow gonna fall from the roof? I don't want snow falling on my car from a 3-story building.
You know which property is?
I think he's to the right. So I'm assuming you're to the, if we're facing, if you're on West Broadway looking at our property, at the property, we're to the right.
I am on the left side of the property.
To the left side of the property.
322.
Mike can handle it.
Yeah,
On the left side.
Yes,
Okay.
if you look at the front elevation, you'll see the roofs are sloped from the front to the back. So there's no sloping to the left or right. So any snow there would fall towards the front or the back to slope of the roof,
Not to the side.
not to the side. No.
See that? I don't know if you can see that on the.
So everything slopes towards the front, and there wouldn't be any problem. There's a side yard anyway as well, so it would not go over onto somebody else's property.
Someone's going to have
Okay.
to speak up a
Well-
little bit. It's getting harder and harder to hear anyone.
Right now, we have only one extra family in that house, and it's a lot of people visiting every day. So there is a lot of guest cars. So we don't have much parking on the streets. How you guys are going to handle that?
Well, again, if our proposal is granted by the board, there's going to be a dramatic change in terms of our development providing fully required parking on site. Whatever is going on there with respect to the existing tenants will no longer be the case. So we're designing a state-of-the-art 2-family houses, 3 of them, with on-site parking meeting the city requirements. So and we understand the general parking concern in the neighborhood, but our intention is to improve not only our site, but have a positive impact all around.
The other concern that I have is these 3 septics that you want to build. Septic tanks.
Sorry, 3 what?
3 he's calling them the septic tanks. There are 3 tanks in the front of each property.
So the purpose for these are called seepage pits, and the purpose is to capture the the rainwater runoff. So all the rainwater that runs onto the buildings and to the driveway will be captured in these. It's not a septic tank, but it's a seepage pit.
Oh, it's not a septic tank.
Water runoff.
No. All right, you have any other questions, sir?
Well, no.
Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to the next caller.
Okay, they're on.
What?
Supposedly they're on. Hello?
They're on? Hello?
Yo creo que la última.
I'm sorry. Hello? Can
Hello?
you speak? Yes, hello. Can you please speak your first and last name, okay, and your address for the record?
Yes, my name is Olga. It's the same address at 318 West Broadway. About the concern about the building, why they make building? Because over here is house, no building. And we have problem with the parking in the main street because it's only one way, the parking. I don't know why. If you only one family coming, a lot of cars over here, why? Imagine that with another people, with a lot of family there. It's more problem. I don't know why.
What is your question? What is your question? What is your question, please, for the 2 witnesses that were before you before?
Yes,
Your question-
because for me, the question is the parking over here. We have problem.
Yes,
right
we've
now.
heard that. We know that. We know what the community is saying over there. We've heard you all loud and clear. I think the answer is going to be the same. The house is having 4 parking spaces for each unit. There's 3 units. There's going to be 12 spaces, and that's the answer to that. I mean, I don't know what else they can answer at this point, unless you have something else to add to that, Mr. Stern.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
no,
but
not really. You
I
covered
think
it, that we're compliant.
Yeah, what they're saying is, and they're compliant with the city. They're compliant. This is all that's required of them. We understand, but they're compliant, and we have to go by what we have on this particular application. So, I mean, we've heard, your concerns. We've heard everyone's concerns about the parking. So my question is, do you have another question for this applicant or for the witnesses?
Well, I don't have a question, but I have my opinion about that because
Okay, well,
live
I'm going
here.
to give you at the end a few moments. Everybody's going to have 3 minutes for their opinion. So right now, this is for questions.
Oh, okay, that's
Okay?
okay. No, I
Okay.
don't have question right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Next
We
caller,
have one
please.
more.
Good, please.
Can't do it now. You gotta do it at the end. It's not like the other meetings. They're very particular.
So right now, this is for questions. Is there another caller on the line? Is there another caller on this line?
The attorney. Right there.
Is there?
Why is Paterson doing 3 family there? It's too big.
Is
Ma'am.
there another caller on this line?
They're on. Supposedly, I don't know if it's the same person in the
No,
same
ask
household,
Ryan
but
to
they're
mute.
on.
Ask Ryan to please mute them. Somebody mute them.
Oh, hell no. It's too big for its space. I told you what to say.
Okay, mute them. Thank you. Okay. So at this time, I'm not closing the public portion because I'm going to allow them all to come up and make their 3 minutes of comments. I am going to open up the questions now to the board members. Okay, so who has a question for either one of the witnesses that we heard before?
Madam Chair, if I could just interject for a moment, I have no
Yes.
problem with you proceeding with my experts. I'm going to be off the record for about 5 minutes, but they're going to be handling questions, okay?
Okay.
All righty.
I'm just going to stop the.
All right. So any questions?
Yeah.
I have one, Madam.
Yes, Commissioner Roman, please.
Just if we can just elaborate on this tank. What are we calling it? A septic tank?
Not a septic tank, no.
Just let's if we can elaborate on that. Where, like, I know they said it's going to be in the front. Where in the front? I was trying to see that on the plan.
Sure, Commissioner. If I could, Madam Chair, if I could share my screen again?
Yes, please.
Please, thank you.
Okay. Oops. Oh, boy, hang on. Sorry about that. We're almost there. Okay. So here we go. This is my subdivision detail and site plan detail. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
So here we have our lot in question with West Broadway, the curb. We have our sidewalk, our entryway. In the driveway area in the front of the lot, we're proposing 3 seepage pits. So these are designed to capture the rainwater runoff from the roofs of each unit of each building. Each one has their own. So what they do is they capture the roof runoff from each one. In addition to that, we have a trench drain in front at the opening of our driveway. And that picks up all the water from the driveways, the common drive. So that common drive will go into that middle seepage pit with a pipe. And then in addition to each lot having their own and the roof leaders going to each one, we link the 3 pits up. So it provides maximum storage for the site. So there, I could go to the detail of the pit as well, which is.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Stern. They're not really visible.
Do you see them? They're circles. See the circles?
Yeah, I know, but you don't really see those circles, do you, in front of the house?
Oh no, they're underground. These are buried.
Right. They're
Right.
underground.
Correct. Right.
Okay.
And they have an access port, so they'll be accessible for cleaning and such. But let me go to I have a detail on the plan as well.
Okay.
So these are buried pits. Yeah, if you ever pass by a construction site during construction, you'll see the tanks that are on the surface sometimes before they install them. And these are big concrete tanks. And what we do is we have filter fabric and we have stone around them, almost 2.5 feet of stone around the perimeter of the tank. And then you have the tank itself. These are large tanks and so the water goes into the tank and percolates out into the stone and then eventually gets into the groundwater system and recharges the groundwater. That's the purpose of it. So everything's piped underground. It's not visible at all. It just works. What you don't see is the water running off the site onto Broadway. So it'll be captured on the site.
Commissioner Roman?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't as visible.
Right.
Thank
I
you.
kind of thought that's what you were thinking. They were there in the front, they were visible, but they're not.
You're welcome,
So
sure.
that's a good thing. All right, commissioners, can you take your plans down, please? Mr. Stern? Okay. Commissioners?
Yeah, Commissioner Hassan, I had the
Yes,
same,
Commissioner Hassan, yes.
I just want to make sure I'm not repeating the same question. And if I missed it, I'm sorry, Mr. Stern. So what's the limit, like the water limit on this thing? And if the limitation, whenever the water hit the limit, right, what's going to happen?
Oh, that's a good question. So we
Yeah.
do know lately that we've been having excessive storms with our environment and everything, and water runoff. So what happened, so these will, there's a maximum amount of storage that these will provide. So the roof leaders will run into this, it'll fill up to the top. And then what happens is there's a trench drain, the trench drain that is at the entry driveway. That's our outlet point. So
Okay.
in a worst case scenario, the water will come out of that. It won't go to adjacent properties. It'll go into the right of way, the roadway of West Broadway. But that's only an extreme circumstance.
Yeah, but that's the right way to do, right? I'm assuming so.
No, good question though.
All right, no problem. And sorry,
Commissioner,
go ahead.
Commissioner Hassan, you have another question?
Yeah, I have a quick question for
Yes, go ahead,
Mr.
please.
Romanek. I believe we have like 3-bedroom on each floor, right? 3-bedroom on each floors.
Well, we have 3 bedrooms on each floor except for the middle unit. The middle unit has 2.
Yes, 2, right? So, okay. Let me think of. I had something on my mind, but I'm gonna come back. Okay, go ahead. You can.
Come back soon. Come back soon. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Because
Commissioner?
I had my question plan a different way. Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead. Commissioner Amar.
No worries, Commissioner Amar.
Okay, as I was reading, I see that there is no place for the trash or recycle. It says that they will have to be kept in the apartments until it's time to take them out.
We do have the area. We have an area here, right?
Can you address that, Mr. Romanek?
I can address that if you don't mind.
Oh,
We do
okay,
have,
Mr. Stern, sure, go ahead.
So on my plan, if I could share again, if you don't mind.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Sure. So we do have I'll zoom in here. On the right side of the driveway area, in front of, I'm sorry, let me get there, sorry. In front of unit 322, we do have a refuse and recycle area here. So it'll be a fenced in area for the garbage, and allow the garages will, they can exit the garages here and maneuver. But we do have a site-specific refuse and recycle area.
Okay, so do we need to change this? It's in paragraph 18. It says prior to the trash being taken out, taking to the exterior trash area, trash and recyclables are to be stored under the kitchen counter cabinet.
So I believe this covers it. They can utilize this for storage of refuse.
Wait, what paragraph?
18.
I didn't see
Mr.
that.
Which's letter is that?
Well, that's what I saw in the.
Oh, I see it is prior to trash being taken to the exterior trash area, trash and recyclables are to be stored under the kitchen counter cabinet. Okay, but Mr. Stern, you're saying that they could take it out at any time because that's going to be outside on the property, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
I'll stop.
Okay, commissioners?
How about I'm sorry, Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Lorenzo?
Yes, how about the cameras for the building?
Well, this is more of a private property. I don't know. If it were me, I would like to have cameras on the outside of the building because they're very close to the brownstone. You get a lot of traffic walking around. I don't know, Mr. Stern, Mr. Romanek, do you think that's feasible?
Yeah, my client would have no problem with that, Madam Chair. I'm back in.
Okay, just so long as it's not, I mean, we all know the rules attached to video cameras. You cannot be facing them as somebody else's property, so forth and so on, in the windows and whatnot. And it would have to hopefully be hooked up to the Paterson Police Department if possible.
Okay.
I have another question. I
Yes,
believe
Commissioner Amar.
this is to Mr. Aquaviva. Being that this is like 3 two-family houses, 6, should we consider this still a private property, like a
I don't
isn't
understand.
it like a multi-residential building or?
No.
Well, it is an apartment building. I already
No, it
asked.
is not. Right. In all due respect, this is not a 6-family apartment building. These are side by side, 3 two-family houses connected with common areas, but individual 2-family residences.
Right, but they're rental units, right?
There are rental units, but the characterization as a multi-family building, I think, by the commissioner is not accurate.
Well, you have 3 buildings on one lot, each one having 2 units each, right?
There'll be 3 lots if the application is approved. Each lot will contain a 2-family house that are structurally connected.
Which will have shared elements of
Yes.
of maintenance, so to speak, management.
Yeah, maintenance and common parking elements.
Okay, so Commissioner, what is your question based upon that representation?
If because I was looking at the houses in the around the area, and I was looking that like they're more as like one family houses in each property, one family, two family in each lot. So I don't get me wrong, but I believe this the purpose of dividing this this whole lot, it's to maybe make it belong to the area. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well.
Yeah, well, that's a decision that you're going to have to make. I mean, but essentially, what the applicant is representing is that you have 3 two-family residential properties, each one on a separately subdivided lot. So the reality is they may look the same. That remains to be seen when they're built. But the reality is you have a 2-family home on each lot, and you have to make the determination whether or not that fits within the character of the neighborhood in an area that has mixed 1 families, 2 families, and whatever else is in that particular zone.
Doesn't that make then the requirements between each house that there has to be some distance between one and another?
Well, that's not what's being proposed. I mean, you certainly.
I know that's not what's being proposed, but isn't that another variant?
No, the variances we have that are listed are pretty much identical for all 3 lots. What we don't have, we don't have variances for parking on any of the newly subdivided lots. There's 4 being proposed. If you take a look at the bulk variance requirements, there are several variances being proposed based upon, if I heard testimony correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Romanek or Mr. Stern, based upon the odd shape of the lot, so to speak, the way the buildings are situated. There's variances being proposed. And that's part of what, the commissioners need to do is determine whether those variance requests are reasonable given what is being proposed. I can't speculate what else could be proposed in order to not request any variances. We can only deal with the application that's in front of us.
No, I don't think I'm making myself very clear. I'm sorry. This is the first time I handle one of these applications, so that's why I want to make that question.
Mm-hmm.
The side yards, okay? Like the distance between one apartment, like one house to the other, one building to the other. Isn't there supposed to be a distance between the 3 buildings?
There is, and if you look at the zoning chart, basically the side yard has a 4-foot minimum. And
that's on the sides of the building.
What is being proposed is 3.05 feet. So
Yes,
they're
I
asking
understand.
for variances of less than 1 foot in that particular application.
Mr.
I
Mariconda,
understand that.
I think what she means, let me just see if I'm right about what I
Mhm.
think here, because I think I understand what she wants. She's thinking that in between, okay, even though like the houses are being proposed as being connected, okay, but she is saying that in the past, we've always looked at homes that had a small, even if it's just a small 2 or 3 foot distance between each house, okay? So she's asking, is this like basically, yes, to answer, I think your question, but I should let Al answer this. It's legal to do that. They want the 3 homes, they're connected, they're on separate lots. Am I correct, Al?
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
There-
that's my question.
so there should, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be what we're used to seeing with the property in between. Okay,
No.
that's what I'm saying. Okay,
No,
and I don't know, like that's. I hope that answered your question.
That answered my question. Thank you very much. Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Commissioners, Lorenzo, did I cut you off before? Commissioner Lorenzo, you had more?
No, no, it's okay. Everything is being explicit, and I don't see nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it.
No. Okay. No. I
have
was
a
just
question.
trying. Yeah. Wait. Who's asking? Commissioner Claudio. Commissioner Claudio.
Yes. Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Are there any fire? Yes. Are there any?
You have your
fire,
phone on. Turn your
alarms
phone off. Turn your phone off because I think. Oh, I don't know then why there's
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Can
hear
you hear me?
Yes.
Since these houses, these units going to be connected to each other, are there any fire alarms going to be installed on this property?
Yeah,
fire alarms?
Yes.
None of the houses are connected to each other. The walls separating them are fire-rated walls. As a matter of fact, you could see that if you go to sheet number 2, Commissioners, you'll see that each of the units have their own separate walls. There is no common walls proposed, and you'll see that soon on sheet number 2. And if you look very carefully, you'll see that each of the houses have their own walls, and they do not rely structurally on each other, or there are no common firewalls. They each have their own fire-rated wall assemblies. You see what I mean, Commissioners? There, separate walls.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see that. All right, thank you. Another question. There any e-bike not supposed to be allowed on these garages? Am I correct?
We couldn't understand you. Sorry.
No electric bikes going to be allowed on the garages. Am I correct?
Electrical lights?
Bikes.
Electric bikes. No
Bikes.
electric bikes anywhere.
No.
I want to go back to the fire issue. That all has to be inspected by the city of Paterson anyway. Am I correct, Mr. Mariconda?
Sure. Yeah, the final construction plans regarding the firewalls has to go through the full building and fire department review.
Right. It has to be up to fire code. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And no
Okay,
electric.
thank you. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to open it back up to the public for 3 minutes only. Please use the timer, Madam Secretary. Okay, and they can make their comments. I think their comments are all going to be probably. It sounds to me like what we heard earlier, which would be parking related, more or less, and how they're going to pull out of the front yard, backyard, and so forth. And I understand that, and I think we all understand it by now. But I'm going to open it up to everyone who had called in, and anyone that wants to make a comment. Okay, they'll be given 3 minutes to do so. So please call in from the public now if you'd like to make your comment.
And dial *3.
*3. When you get on, dial *3, please.
Okay, we have people in line, but not in queue yet, so nobody's requested to go on. So let's just wait a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we're getting one now.
Yep.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Can you please say your name? Hi, your name and address, please, for the record.
And they have to mute their YouTube.
I'm sorry, you have to mute the YouTube, otherwise there's an echo here. We can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes, please state your name.
Hi,
and
this is Margarita Vega.
Your address for the record, please.
Margarita.
Your address for the record, please.
Okay, I think we should move on to the next. They're not answering. They got disconnected.
Okay.
We're moving on.
Next person.
Hello?
Yes, please say your first and last name and your address for the record.
Okay, for the third time. My name is Dalia Vega, and I live on 330 West Broadway. Can you hear me?
Right. Unfortunately, we can't see you, so we don't know who's speaking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, just tell. My name is Migdalia Vega.
You got it. We
and
have
I
that.
live.
We have that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So you have 3
okay,
minutes for your
330
comment,
West
please?
Broadway. Okay, and it's for the comment. Okay, we're on the house 2 stories to the second house to the left of the property, and we object to this project. This is my call to whoever is going to be making this decision, the commissioners, etc., for a lot of reasons. Like has already been mentioned, the parking. You know, they say they're going to provide parking, but then the homeowner charges the people that live there, so they end up parking on the street and even on the sidewalk like they do sometimes. So to add more, that's going to be a problem. They already addressed the garbage, the amount of garbage. There has to be an accommodation because, again, it's 6 apartments. Whether they say 1 big unit or 2 units or 3 units, it's 6 apartments on the same lot. Privacy, we're in the second yard. We have no privacy if there's someone looking over from some other building beside us. The fire risk, I know they'll do a firewall and they'll go by the fire department and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? When you live nearby, I mean, if you're going to have somebody on your block where you live that sets up the same arrangement, let me know how it is. Okay? So I think there's fire risks. It can easily spread. Most of the houses that are there currently, we are most of them are occupied by the owners, and so there's always that supervision and that care. So if this Mr. Mercado or Ms. Mercado, whoever the owner is, you know, is he going to be living there? We have an objection to that. The issue with the amount of sewer lines, and another thing is, will the property be registered with the state? Because it's going to have 6 apartments. Whether you divide it in 2, you're just playing with the law. I mean, you know, or whatever, playing with words, but we're not morons. We live on that block. We've lived for many years, and we're not idiots. Okay, we know what goes on. I grew up in a tenement house, 5 stories, so I know what it is to live in an apartment building. So, and also, I also want to know if the owners here, they get a city tax break. Who's going to be paying for the families that has to send their kids to school? Let's say we that live on that same block, are we going to get tax breaks also? You know, I just want you guys to whoever's making that decision to approve this, you know, that you take it personal. Come by the neighborhood, come and have coffee with my mom so that you understand why, you know, we're not saying not to build anything, but build something that keeps the quality of life in that block. Okay? Not an apartment building. The fact that they divided up into 3 lots, did they already approve that? or I think it's still one lot. So to make it divided into 3 lots to make accommodations, we have issues with that. And thank you for the commissioners that are going to, look for at least the benefit of those that do live there, that do occupy that space.
I'm going to have to move on.
I
I'm so
used up my
sorry.
3 minutes?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, but I think I got my point. Okay?
Yep.
That's all right. Thank you.
Okay. All right, next caller, please. Hello.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yes, please state your name,
Hello.
address for the record.
Okay, this is Yvonne Jackson again. I'm 317 West Broadway, right across the street from the proposed park.
Okay, I'm allowing 3 minutes for the comments, so please go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready. So listen, I agree with the park. I don't want to talk about the parking. We know the questioning regarding the sewage system and whether they're going to tap into the line, that really wasn't addressed. We already mentioned that it's an older block. I don't even think it's fair that we're on the phone with this call because there's a lot of elderly people in this neighborhood that would probably be able to show up versus being on a virtual call. We're already struggling. The calls are coming in and out. They're not clearly hearing everyone. There's already a problem with the communication. We can see that. So that right there, I think, is unfairly for us. And we just got these notices a week ago. So I understand that. That's one. 2, let's talk about Mikado Properties, the applicant. This applicant has 10 properties in the city of Paterson. He bought that property it's a one-family dwelling. It was a one-family. He's renting it out to 2 families. On top of renting it out to 2 families, he's garaging Optima vehicles. The reason I haven't complained about the 2 families because I know people need a place to stay. But this guy is already a problem to the neighborhood. He rents out these properties to these cherry pickers. So you got 3 every day. You got 3 Optima vehicles that are garaged there overnight. He put in this extra staircase or fireplace or whatever it is on the side so he can rent it out to 2 families. He's already not a good landlord. He has 10 properties. I don't know how he's doing it. He's getting these plans. They're going to split up one lot that has always been a one family. Thank you for the commissioner that actually went on Google or whatever you did and looked to see what this neighborhood looks like. As Medalia said, it's one family, it's 2 families, and there's elderly people in this neighborhood. I know you're not calling it an apartment because it's 2 families put together on one lot right now. And again, like she said, I don't know if that lot's been subdivided into 3 lots already. It's already proposed because you're already ready to approve a buildings to be built on that. So that's there. The sewage system, the parking, has the county approved this? Does the county say it's okay to build that? Because I know when my neighbor was trying to get a parking driveway approved next door to me, the county wouldn't approve that. And we're on the proper side of the street where you can park. It's like we're talking, and no one's listening. No one lives on this block. We all live on this block. We all care about this block. That person that you said is updating the neighborhood, it's really not, because he's been living here since 2014. Not living here. He's been renting out that place since 2014, and he has not done anything to update that property. He does not care. This is for profit. He doesn't live in this neighborhood.
Okay. I'm getting told the 3 minutes are up. I'm going to have to move on. Thank you for your comments.
Okay.
Thank you. Next caller, please. Next caller, please.
Hold on.
Is there another caller on the line?
I'm checking.
Okay.
Yes, we have someone. Just bear with us. They're having issues. Okay, they're telling me they're on.
Okay. Please state your name and your address for the record. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hi. Please state your name and address for the record.
Jennifer Argueta, 316 West Broadway.
Okay. I'm allowing 3 minutes. I'm allowing 3 minutes for questions. Please go ahead.
Comment. For comment.
Thank you.
Yes, comments. Sorry. Go ahead.
I want to reiterate what was said earlier as well regarding this virtual meeting. I mean, I'm very familiar with virtual meetings. This queue is not helpful. We do have a lot of older residents on the block who have been here for almost as long as I've been here, which has been over 20 years, closer to 25. So that alone is not okay. The notice was also late, considering this is supposed to be in person. I just don't see the transparency that's supposed to be here for the block, because we would have more people who showed up, similar to the hearing that we had, what was it, a year and a half ago? I'm not sure what it was, but when he requested a 7-story building. He does have multiple properties here, and they're all rundown buildings, rundown maintenance. There's garbage all over the property, parking on the sidewalks. It's ridiculous. So this shows no good faith that this is actually going to be something that's good for the quality of life for the residents of this block. And like someone mentioned earlier, a lot of the people who live here are the homeowners. So yes, we do take a lot more care of the property that's here. And we are speaking up and asking for you guys to listen to us. You know that there's multiple variances, and I understand that you do have to listen to every hearing that comes to your desk, so that's fine. But we're telling you that we do not want this here. And it just sounds as though it's not really a concern for you guys, because all you think about is the overdevelopment of this city. This property, it's going to look disgusting. It completely throws off the aesthetic of what this looks like. And like what someone else mentioned earlier, it's not that we're saying that no construction should happen in this lot. It very well should be. It's a very, very old rundown property. It needs love. It needs beautification. It doesn't need these, apartment buildings that you're using semantics to not call apartment buildings, because they're technically 3 houses on this lot that you plan to split one lot into 3. It's just pure semantics. It is a building in the middle of this block that will go higher than most of the feet that are around it. It's an eyesore. We don't want it. I don't know how many times we have to tell you that we don't want it.
We
will go
you.
down there to City Hall and tell you that we don't want it. Oh, it doesn't sound like it.
Well, I'm sorry if that's
me,
the assumption. Wait, hold on a minute. I'm sorry if that's the assumption that you've made in your mind, but this board listened to every single solitary person. Okay, reiterate this over and over, your concerns, and don't tell me that we haven't heard them. We have. And regarding this meeting tonight, the way it was presented, we had an emergency in City Hall. Maybe you didn't know that, okay, that we were not allowed to be in City Hall tonight, okay? So therefore, we are having it, okay,
So
via
why not
Zoom.
reschedule this meeting?
We couldn't reschedule it because there are a lot of people, okay, who have witnesses like they had tonight. And the agendas are completely full. And that actually is a question for Michael Deutsch, the planner. But we have tried very hard. We can't pick and choose what we'd like to have a virtual meeting for. So I'm sorry if that part you don't understand. But to tell us that we're not listening is another story. Whether or not I don't have any pull on this board, I'm just running this
You
meeting.
sound like you feel personally attacked.
Everybody has a decision on this board to make. Okay, it may not be the decision you want to hear, and that'll determine the outcome of this application. But to say we haven't heard you is not fair to us. I'm sorry. So I'm going to move on to the next caller, please. Next caller.
I'm checking. Hold on.
Darlene Collins.
They're on, Madam Chair.
Did you say they're on?
Yes, they're on.
Collins.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Charlene Collins, 323 West Broadway. This proposed eyesore will be.
Go ahead.
This proposed eyesore is directly out of my window. I have a huge bay window. I don't like the building that's currently there. And I know as much as we say about what we don't like, we really don't have any power in this. And I understand it's a money game and it's a numbers game. Stop the greed, reduce it. You don't have to put two families there. You can go with two. You're still going to make money. The house sold for under $100,000 a few years ago. You're going to make money. You're making money every day. When I come home and we have to look for parking spaces, this block is full. There is no way you can tell me that they can build a new building there and it's not going to affect our quality of life. I got a new kitchen and the plumber came in and said to me, I would not recommend a garbage disposal because your pipes are old. And I'm sure you already call the plumber quite often, in which I do. This is just going to ruin our plumbing system in this area. And granted, I feel bad for me, but my neighbor across the street who has to share space with the people that are currently living in that and bringing people on, it's horrible. I already don't feel safe. And now you're going to add a unit there? Doesn't make sense. Stop the greed. Reduce it. Put something that fits into the aesthetics of the neighborhood. I'm not concerned that much about the parking because I have a garage. But I'll tell you this. In the summer, when the Brown stores start having their events, I'm blocked in. Not only by just people, just regular citizens, but the Heldon police are going to block us in. Then people, of course, just park and don't realize that it's a driveway. And we have the having parking on our side of the street. So now we increase it. 3 units, 3 buildings, 2 families. It's ridiculous. Mercado, you got enough property around. Stop being so greedy. Reduce the size of it and make it something that fits. So we can continue to look out for each other. The one good thing, if you knock it down, you get rid of that stuff that's in there. No one cleans the yard. They barely have someone that comes and does the landscaping. I saw a raccoon go over there with his family. I thought he had keys. That property is not kept up. And if that's any indication of what his other properties look like, I would feel horrible that he's been given the key to the city and to build at will. Doesn't make sense. Stop it. It's greed.
Okay, I'm going to move on now. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Next caller, please.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Mrs. Margarita Vega. 330 West Broadway is where my mother-in-law lives. I do take care of her daily. I live at 779 11th Avenue in Paterson, New Jersey. I just wanted to add a couple of things here. Because I don't understand why he would need 3 two-family homes instead of just 2, which would accommodate that space. This application does not fit the space. It is too large. There are too many variances that are needed, special variances that are required. These especially can be decreased by the two-family, as I stated. The brownstone utilizes a lot of Wall Street parking as it is. We do not need to add more congestion at times when we have to park 2 or 3 blocks away. This is used for his personal use, I'm not sure. But if he plans to sell each unit, there should be a deed restriction prohibiting him to add another unit. But I do feel that a 2-family would fit its space. The variance will be decreased. I know a lot of things go in Paterson, but this should not be allowed where people live. If he needs monetary value on this house, maybe he should park somewhere else and then worry about the rest. But at this time, in front of his house, he has 7 cars parked at the front setback. He has 3 on the street that he does every day. He has garbage everywhere. It's disgusting. It is an eyesore, and it is a bad blight on the city. There's commercial vehicles on his property as well that someone needs to go look at. Someone should call zoning. This is not progress for the homeowner, is it? Because the neighbors are the ones that are suffering. I'm also concerned about this easement. These are cars. He has 7. He does working on his cars. It's despicable. These people, including my mother-in-law, needs to have quality of life. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Callers?
Checking.
Checking.
Last speaker.
Last speaker? Okay.
I believe, hold on. Okay, that is it.
All right, I'm going to ask Mr. Maricano to please summarize.
I need a motion to close public.
Motion to close the public portion.
So move.
Hold on.
Second.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, please. Madam Chair, we need to announce it one more time.
One more time, what?
That if anybody wants to comment.
Are there any other callers that would like to call in?
They're in line.
They're on the line?
They're online, but they're not on queue.
Well, if they want to ask a question, now would be the time because we're going to close the public portion.
Comment, not question, comment.
Comments. Anybody want to talk? Otherwise, we're going to close the public portion.
Hit *3, please.
Is anyone in queue? Is anyone in queue?
2 people.
All right, now would be the time to hit *3 so we can get the comments in, please.
Address is 27 North 8th Street.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak up. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak. Yes, you're going to have to speak a little bit louder. We cannot hear you.
I don't know how much louder I can speak.
Well, I don't know how. You got to speak so we can record. We have to record your comments, please.
I have my volume turned up as loud as you can go.
All right. Address and name for the record. Your address and name and address for the record, please.
My first name. Yes, my name is Derek Brown. My address is 27 North 8th Street. And I agree with everyone on the line. That's the residents with the height requirement of bringing 3 2-units. That's going to change the height, the meters of the neighborhood, where you have mostly on that part of the section of that part of West Broadway, you have mostly one families. My house is in the vicinity, and when we're talking about parking, because the city is now being overcrowded with people moving into basement and attics, you have overcrowdedness of, and I have a driveway that can fit 7 cars. But every night I have to call the city of Paterson Police Department because people are blocking my driveway. They put yellow lines out and they still block it. However, City of Paterson Police Department don't come out. Other towns do not allow you to build. If you take a 1-family unit down, you put another 1 family back up. And Paterson is allowing these developers to come in because of the money, and they're allowing them to bring in, tear one family down and put in a 5-unit, a 6-unit. Here we're seeing 2, 3 families. They did that on North 4th Street. They did that on North 5th Street. They knocked 1-family houses down and they put 4 or 5 units. All we're doing is overcrowding the city and making the city that's supposed to be quote unquote broke. We're overcrowding the city, and the residents that's been here for years, we're at a disadvantage because now we have to live in an overcrowded city where parking is ridiculous. And then the height requirements of these buildings is going to change the dynamics of the people that live in that community. And I think that we just need to restructure that, maybe build another 1 family, or like the other lady said, 2 families if that's what they want to do. But 3, and you should have 3 to 4 feet between each unit. You're going to connect it. So it's like it's a townhouse or a condo, but you're not calling it that. And that's my thoughts for tonight.
Thank you. Next caller.
Hello.
Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, this is Marco Argueta from 316 West Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I'm sorry, can
object
you repeat your name,
to this
sir?
project.
I didn't understand your name.
Marco Argueta,
Oh, okay. I think I have the last.
316 West Broadway.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I also object to this project, and I have been living here for more than 20 years. And I don't see having this building on my side. I will accept 2-family house, a house, not a building. And I think that everybody will agree.
Okay, is that the end of your comments, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the queue?
No.
Okay. May I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Lorenzo. Who seconded it?
Second.
Who was that?
I'm going to ask for a break.
Who was that?
Roman.
Second by Hussein.
I thought it was Hussein first, so put Hussein
Okay.
down, and all in favor, aye. And Mr. Mariconda is asking for, Mr. Mariconda is asking for a 5-minute
Hold
break.
on 1 second. Hold on. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Mariconda, I thought I heard him ask for a 5-minute break, so I'm going to go off the record for 5 minutes. Is that correct, Mr. Mariconda?
That is correct, Madam Chair. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Off the
hold on 1
record for
second.
5 minutes.
Hold on 1 second, please.
No, it was muted until the end by him.
Somehow she was. Sorry. It was good. So what's going on?
Just bear with me. I just want to make sure that if we do go off the record, we all have to be muted.
Yes, of course.
Hold on. Okay, we're going to do an intermission. We just need to hold on a second, and then we'll be off the record. Hold on, please.
Okay. What's the problem? What's the problem, Miriam?
I'm just waiting for him to give the okay that we're off the record.
Well, if we all mute ourselves and the recorder, Tony Ann doesn't record anything, then we're off the record.
That's fine, but it's still being televised on.
Yeah, it might still be televised, but they're not going to hear anything because we're all going to be muted and no one's talking. Everybody mute themselves right now, please.
I'm confused. Are we off the record at this moment or not? I'll be back in 5.
Oh, who was that, the chairman?
far away. Now what happened? Do you have where's Mariconda and them? Are they back yet?
Yes.
We're back. We're here.
Oh, okay, there you are. Now popped up. All right, good. All right, so is everybody, you want to take a roll call, please?
Hold on, no, we gotta get back live. Let me
That's what
let,
I'm waiting. I just want to see if everybody's back on, and then we can do the roll call.
the only one who I don't see is Hussein, but he's about to come on.
I see Roman.
Okay.
I don't see Hassan.
He's here.
Why don't I see him?
Right here, Madam Chair.
Okay, got it. I see you. Okay. Now we're waiting for Hussein. Okay. When he comes back on, okay, then we'll go live, and then you take the roll call, okay? See if you can get him on the phone, see if he's around. Oh, he's there. Commissioner Hussein, I see him now. All right. All right. Are you ready, Tony Ann? Okay, good. All right, let's go back on then, please. We're back on the record.
No, we're not. Not yet. Hold on. We're on standby. When he gives me the yes, then we're on. We are on the record.
Okay. Madam Chair, may I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Claudio.
Present.
Commissioner Fisher.
Present.
Commissioner Hassan.
Present.
Commissioner Hussein.
Present.
Commissioner Liranzo.
Present.
Commissioner Roman.
Present.
Commissioner Amar.
Present.
And Madam Chair Northrop.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the few minutes for our group to have our discussion. What I'd like to do, and as part of our summation, and very briefly, I realize the board's been very patient and heard all sides of this application. A couple points I'd just like to comment on some of the public statements. First of all, there will be a full county review as to all elements of the project vis-a-vis parking, ingress, and egress. So that will get a second look by the county governing body's planning board. So there's a sort of a double check on that issue. We feel we're very satisfied with our parking and with our ingress and egress, and it will work very smoothly. Secondly, a question kept coming up about subdivision. The subdivision request is part and parcel of our project tonight, as the commissioners know. Next point to make is there was comments about the height. Our height, just like our parking, is in full compliance and very similar to surrounding buildings on similar lot sizes. With regard to the parking and height, as we've discussed, Mr. Deutsch covered that in his report. Mr. Deutsch also covered that there is a wide mix of residential uses, including larger multifamily buildings that we are not seeking at this point. So I think we've covered a lot of the points that were raised by members of the public. I would also say that some of the comments were essentially personal attacks on my client, and his ownership of other properties and his management of those properties are not a subject matter for this board. I urge Mr. Mercado, as I urge every applicant, to maintain his application property the right way, and he should also, of course, maintain other properties the right way. But I don't believe that that's something that's a proper item for consideration tonight. Okay, so I think I basically have addressed the points that were raised during the public portion. At this point, I think the board has had a full airing of our presentation. We believe this is a very, very strong application in terms of upgrading, providing new quality housing in two-family homes that will be independently owned at some point. There will be shared maintenance and upkeep on the buildings as per Mr. Deutsch's report. So this will be an opportunity for home ownership. It will not be an apartment building. It will be a good investment for this owner and future owners as two-family dwellings. So I think there was a misconception in that regard as well. Essentially, we think the variances that are sought are minimal. We believe this type of use belongs in the R2 zone. That's why we're here and not at the zoning board. It's a permitted use. So for all those reasons, we ask the board respectfully for a motion for approval. Thank you.
Madam Chair, before you put this matter to vote, or I should say to motion application, there's a couple of matters I'd like to address.
Yes.
Okay. First, Madam Chair, I just wanted to put on the record, one of the objectors or interested parties, I should say, raised an issue about notice. And I wanted to point out, so the board knows this, and I'm sure the board knows already, that this is obviously a rare occurrence, hopefully a one of a kind occurrence. There was the ceiling falling in the council chambers, so we didn't not have a physical place to meet. So we are now conducting the meeting virtually. Madam Secretary, I know there were many announcements or several ways to announce this. Can you just put on the record what was done to announce the change of venue for tonight's meeting?
Okay, so last Wednesday, as soon as we were informed that the council chambers were not going to be utilized, the agenda was posted in all three entrances of City Hall, and it was also posted on the website with the correct information and the sections where the public can access the meeting with the meeting ID, the call-in number, and and how to view the meeting on the YouTube with the links. In all three of the notices on the doors and on the website.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Madam Chair, again, I just wanted to put on the record that I, as counsel to the board, I approved this method. I spoke with Madam Secretary late last week. Given the circumstances and the spur of the moment decision that had to be made, this was what I believe, based upon the statutes, based upon the review of the zoning laws of the state, was the most appropriate and required course to take. So in my opinion, as counsel to the board, this notice requirement and the announcements on the change of venue satisfied all of the requirements of the board. So I wanted to put that on the record, make it very clear that it was me. I was the person who approved this based upon my conversation with Madam Secretary about moving forward tonight. Second, and Mr. Mariconda hit a couple of these issues, but I just wanted to point out for the board a couple of things. And again, the board has a lot to consider tonight based upon the variances that are being requested, the application itself, the development that's being requested, and that certainly is on a commissioner by commissioner basis, whether or not you believe the application and the proposed development it should be approved or not. But there were several main concerns that I heard from all of the objectors. One of which was parking. The parking requirement is met. The ordinance requires 4 parking spaces for each one of these proposed buildings. 4 parking spaces are being required. Are being proposed. The board does not have any statutory authority to require the applicant to do more than what the ordinance requires, and that is exactly what the applicant is doing. They are providing the parking that's required. Second, another concern I heard was for the height of the building. Again, all 3 buildings meet the minimum requirement for height. There's 35 minimum requirement, 34 being proposed. So those two concerns, while they may very well be legitimate in the eyes of the public, and I'm not saying they're not, I just want to point out for the board, for the commissioners, and for all of your review that the applicant satisfies that variance along with the parking requirement. Lastly, again, as Mr. Mariconda stated, and I don't take a position either way on this, I just want to state it the way it is. And that is basically that if this application, this proposal was not allowed in this zone, it would not be before this board. It would be before the zoning board. This proposal is acceptable in this particular zone. So what I would just state to the board that in this application, and certainly in any other application, but more so in an application of this magnitude, if a motion is made to approve or deny, to please state the reasons on the record for your decision in making that motion. That's all I have on the procedural issues. What I heard in terms of proposed conditions was, I believe the applicant put on the record that there was not going to be any fees for parking. My recommendation is that that would be in the resolution itself, although it's made part of the record, and that there would be no e-bikes permitted on the premises. Other than that, of any of the proposed buildings. Other than that, I did not hear any other conditions that were not set forth in the thorough planning review.
All right, thank you, Mr. Aquaviva. Okay, so all of that being said, I'm going to ask if any commissioner would like to make a motion to either approve or deny this application.
I do.
Two-part. It's a two-part.
Right, we absolutely need, right, we need the two-part for the subdivision, and then we need the regular site plan. So
I do.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna say that the reason I wanna make a motion of denial is not because it doesn't have nothing to do with the parking lot. It doesn't have nothing to do with the height of the buildings. I want to make a motion for denial because I think it is too much for the land that is there. So I believe maybe it was subdivision for 2 lots instead of 3. It would be a beautiful project, but I think 3 lots in that space is too much. That's my personal opinion.
So you're making a motion. Can you
For
put it
denial.
on the record? And then
For the subdivision.
for the subdivision, okay. And so, should I take a vote? I'm asking Al Aquaviva, should I take a vote on this or see if anyone has a motion to approve?
Is there a second? Well, no, is there a second on the motion to deny?
Is there a second on this motion?
Fisher, second.
Okay. Should we take the vote?
Yes, the motion is on the.
Okay, all right. Roll call, please.
Hold on.
This is to deny the subdivision.
Yes on denial. No, not on denial.
Right.
Okay. Commissioner Hassan.
No.
Commissioner Claudio.
No.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yes, on denial.
Commissioner Hussein. Commissioner Hussein, I need you to unmute yourself.
No. Can you hear me?
Commissioner Lorenzo.
No, on denial.
Commissioner Roman.
Yes, on denial.
Commissioner Amar.
Yes, on denial.
Madam Chair Northrop.
No, on denial.
Okay, the motion fails.
Okay.
The motion to deny failed. Madam Chair, ask if there was any other
Yes.
pleasure of the board tonight.
Yes, would anyone else like to make a motion on this application to approve? Commissioners? Well, we have a denial, but no one wants to make the motion to approve?
Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Lorenzo.
I don't have the paperwork with me, but I will make the motion to approve this application.
Subdivision, it's subdivision.
The subdivision, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it's with the following,
This subdivision doesn't have the
oh, that's right, I'm sorry, it's been a long night.
condition.
You're right.
I need a
Yes.
second.
So we need a vote.
I
Second,
need a second.
second, who's got a second here, anybody?
Second.
Second.
Yes, Commissioner Hassan, second, okay. Roll call?
Commissioner Hassan.
Can I just ask, is that public portion, phone still open? Because I hear people.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute it.
Councilor Brown was saying.
Go ahead. I just muted it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Hassan.
Yes.
Commissioner Claudio. Somebody else is on, okay. Commissioner Claudio.
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher.
No.
Commissioner Hussein.
Yes.
Commissioner Lorenzo.
Yes.
Commissioner Roman.
No.
Commissioner Amar.
No.
And Madam Chair Northrop.
Yes,
The motion passes. Thank you.
all right. Now we need a motion for the site plan. Motion to
And
approve
bulk variances, Madam Chair.
and the bulk variances, right? Do I have a motion? Commissioner Lorenzo,
Yes, but I don't have the paperwork. That's
Paperwork.
why. Yes.
That's okay.
I made the motion, and Madam Secretary, can you please read the papers, please?
Bear with me.
If not, I can do it.
Oh, thank
Go
you.
ahead, go ahead,
Commissioner
go
Hussein.
ahead.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion on applicant Marcado's Property LLC, 742 East 23rd Street, Paterson, New Jersey, 07804. Property 322 West Broadway, Block 703, Lot 19. I move that the Board of Attorney prepare resolution guaranteeing site plan approval, bulk variances, common driveway access agreement and maintenance agreement, common area, city engineering, HEP soil conservation district, Passaic County Planning Department, West Broadway is a country road with all the conditions.
and
Second.
with all the conditions, but we also, and no e-bikes,
No e-bike, second.
No.
with, and plus the other conditions. Do I have a second?
Yes,
Second.
Lorenzo. Okay, Commissioner Hassan.
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Claudio.
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher.
No.
Commissioner Hussein.
Yes.
Commissioner Lorenzo.
Yes.
Commissioner Roman.
No.
Commissioner Amar.
No.
And Madam Chair Northrop.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Okay.
We thank you, Commissioners, for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. All right, I want to ask what is the, I know we had a meeting for Wednesday night. And I want to know what is the story with this Wednesday night, because from what I understand, we were having it virtual, now we're not having it, now we can't have it, no, we're not going to do it. So can I ask what the story is? Do we know?
Madam Chair, we're still live.
Yes, I know, but I need to know about Wednesday night's meeting. That's all I'm asking.
It is canceled as of now.
All right, so Wednesday night's meeting is canceled, everyone. I'm gonna go off, let's go off the record for now. I make a motion to close, but I want to talk to everybody still, okay? Motion to close, and do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, so for those of you who may not know, we are having an issue
Hold on,
with.
Madam Chair, we're still live.
That is still open.